Hi everyone, it's Brittany, and today we are going to be sharing one of my clients' amazing experiences. I'm steering away from calling it success stories just because it's not about success. It's just about being who you are and choosing to experience things in the way that you prefer to experience them. So, I'm just going to get right into it. Oh, by the way, though, this does tie in with two videos that you guys have been wanting me to do, which is talking more about I am and talking about how to um, be in that awareness or how to be one with I am. So we're going to talk about all of that. Also, this also ties in with manifesting multiple desires. So let's just get into it. This is from a client of mine who I have been working with for over a year now, on and off, and he is awesome. He's manifested lots of fun things in his experience, but he said nothing that was changing his life. And I get that. So, he was manifesting just kind of fun little things, like his coworkers saying certain things that you wouldn't expect them to say, or like manifesting free things, getting like free food, um, things like that. And really just doing fun things just to see who he was and recognize how powerful he was. But in all of that, he said, my life hasn't changed in any way. My experiences haven't changed in any way. And that's what I want. I don't care about these little things where people say what I want to hear, or where I see my dad wearing a neon green shirt when he would never do that. It's fun, but it isn't changing my life. And so I said, okay, well, let's start experiencing life-changing things. And he was like, okay, so I have done everything. I've done everything that you've said. I have given myself these experiences. I have felt gratitude for the things that I have. I have, visualized being the person. I have just decided it. I've just claimed it for myself. And no matter what I do, nothing changes. And so I said, okay, well, first of all, that's exactly what you're going to continue to experience if that's the story that you tell. I've done everything right, but nothing changes. Okay, so that's all that can happen. That's all that you can experience. And he said, okay, well, I do know that what you're saying is the truth. How do I shift out of that? How do I do something different? Because like I said, nothing has happened. And so I said, first of all, nothing is happening. Nothing happens out there. You are experiencing your own personal projection of who you are being, period. That's it. Of what you choose to be aware of how you choose to define yourself and your life. And so if you keep telling yourself that, well, I'm doing these things, I'm trying to visualize, I'm scripting, I'm deciding, and nothing's happening, well, that's all that can happen. That's all that can be perceived by you, is what I should say. So he was like, okay, well, what should I do? Because it's not only my love life, but I want to change my career. I have no idea how to do that. I don't know how to even start in that. I also want to experience a healthy version of my sister, and that isn't happening either. And so I said, look, in this moment, as you're describing this stuff, I get it. You're trying to tell me what's going on, but nothing's going on. You are continually feeding energy to those stories, which that's all they are, is stories, and then you are making them relevant in your experience. So if you want to stop experiencing those things, fine, I get that, absolutely. Stop talking about those things. Stop giving your focus and attention to those things. And he said, but they are happening. They're not. They're not happening. You are reality. You are. Nobody else, nothing else. So when you look into the 3D world and use it to determine what's going on, it's already wrong. It's already wrong. Nothing is going on. You decide what's going on. You choose what you want to give your energy and focus to, and you get to decide who you are. And he was like, okay, I know, but I've chosen my identity so many times. I don't know how many times I can do it before something changes. Again, how can anything change if you aren't seeing yourself differently? You're saying, I'm putting in all this effort and work, but nothing is happening. That's all that you can experience. That's all that you can experience. And so he was like, well, okay, so I have to stop trying to fix things. I got that. So how do I just drop it? How do I drop it and have what I want? And how do I stop trying to micromanage every area of my life? Well, first of all, understanding who you are. You're the source of absolutely everything in your life. Everything in your life. 100% all the time. So if you're the source of everything, you don't need to do anything. You already have everything. It's just the recognition that everything is yours. So again, you don't have to try to manage every little area of your life. You can if you want to, but you don't need to. As soon as you have a desire, it's already yours. And guys, this is not just some cute little term that we use. As soon as you have a desire, the fulfillment of that desire is already built into it. So it's yours in that moment, in the moment you desire it. And even if you never think about it ever again, it's still already yours. So it's not about consistently focusing on the specifics to get what you want. It's about choosing to define yourself as the person that has everything that they want. And so he was like, okay, so I can just walk around all day telling myself that I'm living my dream life? Of course you can, if that's what you want to do. And he was like, I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired. I feel like I'm constantly feeling like I need to manage something. But you don't. You're giving yourself that experience. It's not the truth. You don't have to constantly manage anything. You have to know who you are. And so he was like, well, can you give me just one way to do this where I just choose one thing and that's it? I don't have to try to define every area of my life. And I said, actually, you can. And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, if, and because, honestly, because you have that beautiful relationship, because you have your dream job, because your sister is healthy and happy, because everything in your life is going amazing and working out perfectly for you, what would you be saying to yourself? What would you be saying to yourself? And he was like, well, I mean, I would be saying that I love everything about my life, but I've already tried that before and it didn't work. And I said, hold on. When you were saying I love everything about my life, you were doing it to try to make something happen out there. That is not you being the person that loves everything about their life. That's you being the person that doesn't love everything about their life and is just telling themselves that they do in hopes that it'll change. That's not the same thing as being the person. And he was just like, oh my God, okay, I get what you're saying now, but how do I stop doing that then? How do I actually love it? And I said, you don't have to love everything that's showing up in the 3D world. That's not what I mean, but you can see the bigger picture behind it. And that is that you are the source of everything in your life. So nothing matters. The projections don't have any inherent meaning on their own. You're the source of everything. You give them the meaning that you want to give them. But really, what I do, and of course, this is just me. This is not the way you have to do it. This is what I choose to do. But because I know that I'm source, that must mean, in my experience, everything in my life is perfect. Everything that's going on is happening for me to have all of the experiences that I've chosen to have. Because it can be no other way, because I'm deciding it. I'm choosing it to be that way. And so he was like, so it's okay then if I still go to work at my job and I'm not happy there. And I said, sure, it is. You just don't use that to make it mean anything about who you are. You don't tell yourself, well, I'm not happy, so that means I'm not going to get what I want. You don't go to work and say, well, I still don't see what I want, so I'm not that person yet. You let the 3D world be the way that it is. You let your thoughts be the way that they are. You let yourself feel whatever it is that you're feeling in any given moment because it's constantly changing. And if it's constantly changing, it's not reality, is it? Your reality. And I don't mean you, the human you, because those are constantly changing too. Those identities are constantly changing. I mean you at your core, as the source, as I am, as infinite intelligence. That's what's going on here. That's all that's going on here ever. And so whatever it is that appears to be happening, do what you want with it. I prefer to just leave it all, let it all do what it's doing, accept it all, allow it all, and then choose what I prefer. But for me, that usually looks like going back to the fact that I am the source of everything in my life, and that means that this is actually working out perfectly for me. Even if I can't, from this human perspective, see it, I know it. I choose to know it. And you guys might ask, how do you know? You choose it. You choose to know. It's nothing bigger than that. It's nothing more than that. If you are the source of everything in your entire life experience, how could it possibly be any other way? It can't, unless you choose to see it that way. And then you can give yourself an illusion, an experience, but it's not real. It's not the facts. It's not the truth. It's just an experience using your free will to see it that way. So you guys can continue to insist that you don't have it, that it isn't here, that things aren't working, that it's not happening, and you will just continue to experience things in that way. Or you can stop relying on your five senses. You can stop relying on the constantly changing thoughts and feelings. Realize that those things are manifestations and they aren't the source. They cannot manifest for you. Only you can. That's all that there is. And because that's what's going on, choose to stop delaying the experiences that you want to have. And he was like, okay, so if I notice that I'm wanting something in the 3D, I can just give myself that experience. Of course you can. It's not required, but you can. And I suggest you do, because why not? Why not enjoy yourself? Why not actually have fun now? Why not start giving yourself everything from the understanding that you're the source of it all, and nobody, no thing, no 3D experience can or will give it to you? You must do that. That is you. That's who you are. So that could look like giving yourself a full-on experience, play by play, in the exact way that you want to experience it. Or it could just be feeling the way that you want to feel. It could just be deciding that this is who I am now, and I don't care what happens. I don't care what thoughts I have. I don't care what 3D shows me. I am this because I say so, and that's it, period. Can simply just be a decision to choose to see yourself this way, and that's that. It doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter what you do. It's all about who you say you are and how you choose to define yourself. That's it. That's always going to be it. And so he was like, okay, so I'm choosing to be the source of my reality. And I said, well, you always are, but now you're just choosing to know that. You're choosing to perceive things from that perspective. And that's what I say. That's what I choose to do. Now, yes, he had specific experiences that he wanted, but he stopped focusing on all of that, because as source, why do you need to? Again, nothing wrong with it. You can. I'm not saying you can't, but he said he was so tired of doing that. He didn't want to do it anymore. He just wanted freedom, and he just wanted to relax. And that's how he chose to do it. He chose to recognize that he is free right now in this moment. He chose to recognize that he is the source of everything in his life. So no matter what appears, he can choose to see it as perfect. He can choose to see it as a necessary part of his experience, because this is who he is. It doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong, but you get to choose who you are from the understanding that you're source of everything. And so that's what he did. And I don't even know how long it took, because he was emailing me in between sessions, but a very quick turnaround from not having the job that he wants, to losing his job, to then getting a new job opportunity, excuse me, which, by the way, during that unfolding, he could have looked at it as, oh my God, I've lost my job. Now this is a problem. Now what am I going to do? And yeah, he did have a human moment where he felt a little bit nervous and anxious, but then he chose to come back to the truth. Well, if I am source of everything, I'm choosing to see that this is perfect, that this is happening for me. It's happening for me. And of course it was, because he chose to see it that way. But he could have also chosen to see that it was a problem, and it would have been a problem. I hope you guys are understanding this. This is how literal all of this is. So you're not looking at it from a perspective of, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to make this happen. It is all one thing. So you're choosing to be this person now because that's who you want to be. And you're not waiting for the 3D world to tell you that it's who you are. Because regardless of what forms show up in any given moment, as they are always changing, you are still who you say you are. You're still who you say you are. So I had said to him too, because he was like, well, should I go back and forth between I am the source of everything in my life, and because I'm the source, I'm choosing to be this identity that has this particular job? Or what do I do? Because right now I don't have a job. And I said, here's the thing. Regardless of whether or not in this moment you have a job, should not change who you are. It shouldn't change based off of the circumstances. So stop changing and adjusting yourself based off of a reflection of who you previously chose to be. Doesn't make sense. So stand in who you are. If that is source of everything, cool. It always will be. But if you want to add on your human identity to that, you can. But don't adjust it based off of the constantly changing forms in the 3D world. And so he didn't. He chose to just be that successful, abundant him. That's what he chose for his identity. He chose, okay, well, I'm source of everything. So that means I am success itself and I am abundance itself. That's who I am. Regardless if it looks like I have it out there or I don't, I am it. I am it, whether or not I have $1 million or $5. I am still abundance. I am still wealthy. I am still all of those things, regardless of what the changing forms are appearing to be. And this is where everything started happening for him so quickly, because he stopped trying to adjust himself based off of what he was seeing out there. He stopped trying to fix things. He stopped trying to change things, because all then that will be experienced is a version of you that has to constantly fix or change. And you're just going to be chasing the form that is constantly changing. So again, guys, I hope this is very clear. His job completely changed. Like I said, he got let go from the one. He could have freaked out. Even if he did, it would have been fine. But he said, no, I'm choosing to see that this is good for me. This is happening for me. And he didn't just say it, guys. He chose this. He chose to come back to this understanding. Not to make something happen, but because it's what he wanted, because it's who he wanted to be. So that happened with his job. He's loving his new job. He also is experiencing a completely different version of his sister who is healthy and happy. And he's also in the midst of starting a relationship with someone who he's very, very happy about. And all of this started to express itself in 3D form, not because he tried to focus on it or make it happen or manifest it even, but because he chose to be that person that those things would happen to. That it makes sense that you would have this kind of relationship, you would have this type of money, you would have this type of career, you would have this type of relationship with your family members because of who you are, because of who you choose to be. So if there is anything that you guys take from this video, I will suggest that no matter what you do, and I'm not going to tell you what to do because it doesn't matter. It's up to you. But the only thing that matters is that you're coming from this perspective of knowing who you are first. You are the I am. You are the infinite intelligence that is animating your entire life experience. You're the source of everything that you experience. So that's who you're being. And then you can choose your human identity from there. But on top of that, something that I do, and I've mentioned this to you before, take it if you want, don't if you don't. Because you know that this is who you are, you're choosing to appreciate that. You're choosing to appreciate the truth and to be grateful for the truth because you know that there's nothing more to do now. There's nothing more to do but to enjoy it and have fun, play around with it, you know? There's no specific way in how to go about this. So I love answering your questions. I love offering you guys suggestions and what I've done, what's worked for me, but ultimately it's going to be you and what you choose. And all doing that from that foundation of understanding who you really are here. So yeah, guys, I hope that this was helpful. I didn't get too much into details of his like personal experiences because he didn't really feel I needed to. And also, the whole point of this was to remind you guys of who you really are. So it doesn't matter what the circumstances, it doesn't matter what your desires are, it doesn't matter about any of that because all of the desires that you have are already yours. You're not making them happen. You are just allowing your senses to perceive them when before you insisted that they weren't here and that's why you couldn't perceive them. So that's it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm sure that at least one of you did, and let me know if it was helpful. Thank you for allowing me to share that. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your week, and I will see you soon. I love you all so much.